All right, now we're recording, although I sound like shit compared to you, but that's fine.
I'm really surprised that I managed to get any sort of tech alignment with this mic and make it sound okay. 'Cause
Yeah,
this was all me. I did all this.
yeah, it's good mic. It's good quality. This was cheap. It's lasted me. I've had this mic for probably like 8 years now, so as long as it
Yeah.
works, I'm happy.
And Ian will be the first to tell you that not only am I colorblind, but I am also technologically retarded.
I would have previously gone that far, but I think you've gotten better. I think now you're decently. I wouldn't say tech savvy, but you're comfortable enough.
Yeah, I don't know what it is. I don't know when I stopped developing, but I think somewhere around the PS2 gaming console, I just could no longer move beyond that point, roughly. Like, I can plug in, like, I knew, like, the red and the blue and the fucking yellow wire or whatever on the back of the console. But, like, for instance, I tried to set up Streamlabs the other day, and there were just so many options and so many permutations. I had to call Austin, which nobody ever by talking to Austin would ever think that he would know more about this shit than I do, but I couldn't do it alone.
This one particular thing, I would bet on Austin knowing more than me too. But yeah, most things. But the PS2 era is not a bad place to be stuck in. That was
Yeah,
it was a good time. I still have a PS2 somewhere.
it's a great console.
Yeah.
I mean, if you could only play, if you were stuck in prison for the rest of your life in solitary confinement and you only had one system, you wouldn't be too bummed if it was PS2.
Oh yeah. No, absolutely not. Yeah, that was good.
All right, well, let's talk about what you and I, editor Ian, are actually here to talk about today. Honor killings of women in the Muslim world. For or against?
I appreciate you giving me time to prepare my opinion, and for actually surprisingly, after doing extensive research, for.
Yeah, no, it's strange. It's sort of like I took the Michael Jackson accusations at face value at first, but then after digging in a little bit, I think the guy's innocent, and I'm for honor killings of Muslim women.
Yeah, absolutely. You bringing up honor just reminded me about. One of my favorite things when watching SLS competitions is whenever there's a Japanese skater, they always manage to
Street league skateboarding.
Yeah,
street
exactly.
League. Okay.
They always manage to, like the first couple competitions Yuto was doing well in. I remember him falling on his best trick attempt and going up to do it again, even though it wasn't going to count, which is like normal. But the commentator was like, for him, this is about honor, which is like the most close to racist thing you can say. Because there's finally a Japanese skater that, of course, since he's doing it again, anybody else, you just do it because it's for the fans, is what they usually say. But for Yuta right there, that was about honor.
It's about honor. Yeah, it's like when a black quarterback makes an athletic play and a white quarterback makes a smart play.
Yeah, exactly.
What are you getting at there, Joe Buck? So, Ian, let's talk a little bit about editing. I'm not sure how much people will care too much about our process, but these are patrons after all, so I guess we can get a little deep in. So the edits, just to give people a quick rundown of the timeline, typically we film a video on Saturday. Kelvin hopefully syncs that footage and gets it to us on Monday or Tuesday. And then from there, after the audio, because our lapels are recording in a little SD card in our pocket that has a cable that goes up to our lapels, and that's where a microphone is. So we need to get that little SD card synced up with the camera that's like over there when we're filming. And then if there are any more cameras, GoPros or any more mics like on Leo, we need to get all of that together into a coherent timeline. And then we need to get it trimmed down relatively tight, and usually that product, once Ian receives it, what is it, about 2 to 3 hours long on a bigger project?
Yeah. Probably of actual footage, yeah. Once you include all the drones and extra stuff that'll be tossed in, it's usually like around a 4-hour timeline. But ideally, usually only about 2 hours of actual footage.
Yeah, of actual vlog footage. Okay, so then we do that, and then on a big project, because there's definitely tiers of our content, I would say, I guess you could break it down into like a 3-tiered system. Most videos are either like a 1 or a 2 video. I'm making up all this terminology on the fucking fly, which is why it's so boneheaded. It's a 1 or a 2 video.
Yeah.
But like a 1 video is something like the open mic video we did, or the 2 Palestine encampment videos. Those are very long and involved, and those are usually all hands on deck. Me and Ian tennis matching the project back and forth to each other over the week.
Yeah, those are definitely the. I would pretty much consider that to be the ideal week. Although those are bigger projects, there's just like so much more back and forth is so much more relaxing because I just know everything is going to be covered and everything's going to end up more or less how we want it. So those big videos are like kind of the like ideal week. Also, if we know it's a big video, we're typically way more consistent on filming on the correct day, getting stuff sent out on the correct day, so it makes for a more consistent week.
Yeah, and there's something about the self-satisfaction of editing a video like the pickup artist video from this year or the Black History Month video, where like when we post that video, I don't know how you feel, but I feel like even if the video doesn't get that many views, I feel okay. I feel like I did my job. I feel like even if anybody shit talks the video, I can just be like, haha, you're wrong. And it bounces off. Whereas sometimes we have to post a 2 or a 3 video to bring back my shitty little tier system because it's not physically possible right now for the size of our operation to get out 40-minute videos every single week that have intros and various written bits within the video. That's not possible. So occasionally we have to go to Skid Row or the Tenderloin at midnight with Fan Jerry, or we got to strap some GoPros on our chest and go to Disneyland. And those videos, I'm a little bit more hands-off, and that's a little bit more just Ian handling those edits.
Yeah, so I guess the overall week when we're going back and forth more is more ideal for me, and I prefer those day to day. But I guess those other videos that are more on me, I end up feeling better once it's done because it has been more of a solo project. Although you and Jace and Kelvin are all still massively involved. I feel like
Jace is getting more in the mix too. I forgot about Jace getting in the mix. We got to give Jace his credit. But sorry, what were we saying, Ian?
No, that. But yeah, I guess I don't really. I have a hard time understanding when a video is actually performing well without like the analytics side of things. So I tend to just not even really pay attention to it. I do always have the notification on my phone, always open the video, like it, and usually even pull it up and let it play through just so that it it's meaninless. It has to be, but it just is part of the ritual, I suppose.
That is, I think Ian is the, I don't think Leo does that. I'm not even sure my parents do that, so fucking.
I could scroll back through the entire catalog. I guarantee I've liked every video I've ever worked on.
Fuck yeah, man. Well, I appreciate that, Ian. That's something. Algorithmically, that might be the grain of rice that tips the battle into the, I don't know, I'm quoting Mulan now.
Yeah, maybe.
It's always a problem when I'm quoting Mulan. So, Ian, you say that when you edit a video, like a 2 video where it's more you, those tend to be the ones that you feel the most accomplished about. Well, sort of on track with that theme, what video do you think is the best video from 2024? Or what are your top 3?
This year so far?
Yeah.
Man. Off the top of my head, it's hard to say. I did really like the stand-up video, but yeah, let me pull up. The first one that pops into my head is the stand-up video.
Yeah, that's one that underperformed a little bit.
Yeah.
And it had the misfortune of coming out before the Palestine video that sort of juiced the algorithm for our channel. But again, that stand-up video, it's like 140,000 views, whatever. All 140,000 of those people, well, I guess 139,099 or whatever, because one of them was just you, letting the phone play the video. But all those other people, like, they're satisfied with that video, and we know it's good, even if it's not smashing the view count.
Sure. I'm satisfied with it too, though, so you didn't have to do that complicated math.
Oh,
All
yeah,
140,000 was satisfied with the video. No, I'm happy with that one. I think, yeah, that was definitely a stressful one overall, but happy with how that turned out.
I remember the most stressful video of the year. We'll come back to your other two choices.
Yeah.
I remember the I Got Jumped UCLA Palestine riot video being pretty stressful, because part of that I had to film on Tuesday or Wednesday, I think, when the cops came to break up the camp. Whereas, like, before the cops came to break up the camp, we just had that little trolling section with me and Leo, and the video would have been so much lighter weight. It would have felt like just this silly little farce. I mean, it would have been funny and people would have liked it, but it really became an all-time great of the channel. And I remember while we were editing that video, I was like watching Tom Brady motivational interviews and shit, and just like having to get my fucking head straight because it was a long week. And Ian and I think like the last 3 days, I mean, it was basically, I mean, at least 12 hours of focused editing, and probably more for like 3 days straight.
Yeah. Fortunately, I think I have a very short memory for those weeks. I think I've developed a good enough decompression weekend strategy that resets me pretty well. Because I think you're right that the end of that shoot was tough, and I completely had forgotten that you filmed a significant portion of the footage, and definitely the most engaging footage late in the week. Which I definitely remember being a little concerned, but I always remind myself when I get psyched out by something like that I mean, we've pretty much never failed. Like we virtually have always finished it, and even throughout all these years, there's only been a handful of times where we've even had to push something back. So I can usually talk myself down from being too panicked.
Yeah, I want to say we pushed one video back this year that I remember. But, I mean, this is not, we don't work at a tech startup, and we're not just trying to push some product to market. I mean, this is art, and it's a creative work, and if we're not getting the proper rest that we need, and if our brains are just sponges that have been wrung dry, then it's going to come out in the subsequent week's video. So there need to be rest videos, quote unquote, and sometimes there need to be rest weeks altogether, which we're sort of taking this week. We still are not totally sure what we're going to be putting up on Monday, and then Ian's going to be going to old Austin, Texas next week to chill out a little bit. But yeah, so I guess just really quickly, we'll talk about your other